Thank you for the sweet comment. You guys can call me an influencer. I will never call myself an influencer. I will actually do the etymology of, and also another word that I think people are using a lot that I'm starting to not like anymore, unfortunately. But with that being said, before I get on into it, anybody that is curious about learning a little bit more and hasn't found me, or if you guys want to support me a little bit more from, you know, hitting me up on my podcast, YouTube, anywhere, everywhere. Podcast, Latin and Layman's Rhetoric Revolution. I've been throwing down many, many podcasts and I'm not getting a lot of views, but I would like to see you guys there. It would be awesome because I'm laying down all the knowledge, whether it be mythology knowledge, ideological understandings of the unexplainable, anything and everything. And I will shut up now because I know that other people are going to get mad that I'm plugging myself for too long or something like that. That being said, Ko-Fi, you can leave me a tip. That's up. I'm only going to mention that. And now to influence, because influence is actually a very interesting word. In is going to be that preposition associated with the accusative case, into or onto, but in this case into, like inflammation, into the flamma, the flame. But in this case we have fluo. Fluo can either be in the verb form to flow or as a noun, flumen, which means river. Okay, so that means really into flowing. So when you influence someone, you flow into them. Because remember, when we etymologize, we work from the suffix back to the prefix. You know, a person who flows into another through their ideologies, I don't know, through their content, con meaning together or with, tent coming from teneo, having held essentially is going to be a past participial form. So having held with is what content is. And I think that if you think about that etymologically, having held with your loins, or like, you know, like what you started out doing. Like, how many times we get upset with people, like, you know, people like, even like Mr. Beast. Like, I actually never knew about this guy or anything like that, but I feel like people have really you know, people that gain a lot of freedom or fame and stardom and limelight, they tend to lose themselves. We see it all the time, you know, and we can love these people for who they are. I'm sorry, I just did a neti pot, so maybe that's why I sound maybe a little grovelly right now. Sorry, lots of allergies right now going on. But, you know, for instance, like Michael Jackson, for instance, you know, what an amazing person as an artist. But I think that we can also think about these people that, like, when they got fame and stardom, goodness gracious, you know, we see people like all the kids, you know, in Disney Channel and stuff like that, and where they're at, or how they have like, it's almost like a hero's journey where they have to like go down, find themselves and their actual identity before everybody else kind of gave them their identity from their perspective. Imagine, it's wild, you know. When you're a child star, you're getting all of this attention, and you happen to probably get all of your self-worth from everybody else around you rather than from you yourself. And then when you lose that, because your image isn't forever, looks fade, dumb is forever, hashtag that, because I am always saying it, remember, you know, these people that shout themselves out on the internet all through looks and, you know, through their hyper curated imagery, it goes. It's not forever. And these people that hold on to it, it looks so undignified after a while. Like these people that I used to follow that I loved. Like, for instance, when I first got sick, I was doing a lot of research into understanding why I had all these autoimmune things happening, and somebody like Mark Hyman, for instance, enlightened me on what leaky gut was when everybody was laughing at him. And now we call leaky gut what we call it small intestinal hyperpermeability in order to, you know, appease the medical doctors. Okay, great. Congratulations. This is a rant. I hope you're here for it because I like knowledge. But like, for instance, Mark Hyman. Now I listened to a podcast from him, sorry, dealing with scab stuff too, where, you know, he's like holding on to, like, he's like he's got this Peter Pan syndrome. Same thing, like I used to listen to Andrew Huberman back in like 2020, and now like I hear him, you know, he freezes his sperm because like, oh yeah, of course, we can't live without, you know, Andrew Huberman not, you know, populating at least, you know, a certain deal, you know, into the future because he's so amazing. You know, how narcissistic is that? It's crazy. It's like, oh well, if I can't live, then I'm gonna have my lineage live on, and I'm not with you know what? If it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. Let life take its course, and don't try and circumvent that with really weird and obscure and very perverse ways in doing it. And I'm like, I used to listen to I don't know. I feel like people lose their ways, and I've seen myself. I've had to check myself before. When I first got viral, as a secure 28-year-old, like I still was getting all this attention from people when I was, and then everybody was giving me attention, and I started like doing my hair and everything like that, and I realized like, wait, because everybody was always like, oh my god, the curls are curling, the curls. If you comment the curls, great. I'm not gonna respond to your comment because I don't really care. Because I could shave my head one day, and would you still follow me? Would you still like me? I don't know, because everybody is so glommed onto the image. Sorry, I'm gonna bleep that out. But with that being said, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to get too heated. Stay true to your loins, having held with your trueness, and my trueness is knowledge. All right, my trueness is looks faded and dumb is forever. And that I'm never going to play into any trope other than, you know what, maybe I'll do the little silly videos, maybe I'll do this and that here or there, but I know where I stand, and I know that the content that I provide, and I know that, the energy that I throw out is so much higher vibrational than all this low vibrational, hyper-palatable mind slob. Sometimes we need it. I need it. Maybe you need it at the end of the day too. But sometimes we need to engage our brains, or else they atrophy. And with that, Tempo says, discover it.